You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 4 on this Friday afternoon. We begin with breaking news. Jordan Love, the Packers quarterback, is out for the Packers-Ravens game tomorrow at Lambeau Field. Backup quarterback Malik Willis will take the helm in the 7 p.m. Lambeau matchup. The official decision comes 6 days after Love suffered a helmet-to-helmet hit from Chicago Bears defensive end Austin Booker during the second quarter of last Saturday's overtime loss at Soldier Field. The Ravens also have Tyler Huntley set to start in the quarterback role after Lamar Jackson suffered a back injury last Sunday. And we'll have much more on this coming up with our Packers writer Jason Wilde in just a little bit. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. And now we're 6 days away from a new year. Let's head over to the Weather Center. It has been so mild. Christmas Day and again today, but a big change is on the way. Meteorologist Blaise Keller is here with the latest.
That's right, Susan and folks at home, a big change. Cooler temperatures were back down into the teens by Monday, hanging out in those 20s for the remaining 2 days of 2025. That's right, we do have an alert day already in place for Sunday night into Monday as our next large system moves through the area. So we are going to see some snow on the back end of this, but there's that system moving on in, and it is going to bring us some strong winds as well as that flash freeze chance and some snow. In the meantime, we're still going to remain mild. Right now, we're at 38 degrees in Madison, down from 40 earlier this afternoon. 39 Janesville, 38. A bunch of us sitting there. Monroe, Platteville, Boscobel, Prairie du Chien, as well as Lone Rock. A little bit cooler off towards the north. Now, like this morning, we could wake up to some patchy fog come Saturday morning, but again, all eyes are on that big system that moves through on Sunday. We're going to talk more in depth about that, what we have working against us and for us in terms of snow, and just how long the cold lasts next week in the full forecast.
All right, Blaise, we'll check back with you in just a bit. Thank you. Madison Metro is not offering extended ride services this year for New Year's Eve, and that is leaving some to figure out alternative ways to get home after a New Year's Eve celebration. Our Maya Tate spoke with the director of Public Affairs for AAA to learn about their Tow-to-Go program to help keep impaired drivers off the road. Maya?
Tow-to-Go, a program offered by AAA, could save lives this New Year's Eve. If you find yourself in a situation where your only way home would be to drive impaired, AAA offers a free ride program that will not only pick you up, but also tow your car, so you won't need to find a way back to your car the next day. The service is available to the overall public also, whether you have a AAA membership or not.
You really can't stress enough the importance of having a plan before you go out. There just really is no excuse to ever get behind the wheel when you know you're impaired. The risks of doing so to yourself and to others is just unacceptable. And this is our small way of making sure that there really are no excuses at the end of the night to make that dangerous choice.
AAA does note that Tow-to-Go is intended to be used only as a last resort, so you can't plan a ride in advance. They also suggest that everyone should plan on having a designated driver or using a rideshare. To get a free ride within a 10-mile radius, call 855-2TOW-TO-GO.
Very important information. Maya, thank you. And whether it wasn't quite what someone wanted or it didn't fit right, 17% of all holiday gifts will be returned this season. And this year, there could be a new cost associated with that. The National Retail Federation found over 70% of merchants have started charging for at least one return option in the past 12 months, citing rising shipping costs and cutting down on return fraud. However, this mostly applies to things you buy online. In-person shopping and returns generally are still free. And as more retailers add those fees and tighten the rules, the Better Business Bureau urges shoppers to slow down before returning gifts. The BBB says stores are not required to offer refunds unless an item is defective, and policies can change during the holidays. Shoppers should check return windows, watch for resale restocking or shipping fees and keep receipts and all of the original packaging. The BBB also recommends using credit cards for added protection and making returns as soon as possible to avoid missing deadlines. And as New Year's Eve celebrations ramp up, animal advocates are reminding everyone that loud fireworks can frighten animals, and that leads to a surge in lost animals over the holiday season. It happens every year, and shelters see a spike in missing dogs and cats in the hours after midnight as frightened pets bolt from homes or yards. So experts recommend keeping your animals indoors in quiet rooms and equipping them with current ID tags or even better microchips, and having a plan in place in case they do escape. Tools like Fido Alert, it's a free pet alert service, help notify neighbors when a pet goes missing. Another reminder for Madison residents ahead of the New Year holiday: there will be no trash or recycling pickup on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. That's next Wednesday and Thursday. If your regular collection day is Tuesday or Wednesday, your carts must be at the curb by 6:30 Tuesday morning. Thursday and Friday routes should set cans out by 6:30 Friday morning. Drop-off sites will also be closed, by the way, on both days, and they will reopen next Friday. Well, still to come on Live at 4, storms continue to hit California. We look at when there will be a pause in the severe weather. And our Call for Action team is offering a warning to rideshare and delivery drivers how to avoid a battle with insurance. And then coming up a little later on Live at 4, food trends are everywhere online, but which ones are true and which ones are baloney? We'll find out coming up in the Health Minute. And Blaze is tracking a weather system that could be hitting this Sunday. It's a critical time as a lot of people travel home for the holiday. He has what you and your loved ones need to know before they head home from their holiday travels.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
A Lodi woman is battling an unexpected $44,000 bill nearly a year after a crash in a company vehicle. Consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn has what you need to avoid falling into the same insurance loophole when and if you're ever driving for work.
Kara Corley was behind the wheel of a company car for Ride Connect LLC when another driver T-boned her, sending her into a traffic light. Now our Call for Action team is working to help Corley and warning other rideshare and delivery drivers to make sure you are protected. A year after the crash, State Farm sent Kara Corley a bill for $44,000.
It was just very disheartening. It was just like somebody, I don't know, just stomped on me.
Ride Connect's insurance policy, provided by Safeco, did not cover her because she wasn't officially listed as a driver on the policy.
I was under the impression they had insurance. I would have never been driving for Ride Connect if I would have thought for 1 second there was not insurance on, and it was their vehicle that I was driving.
Corley turned to Call for Action, who advised her to file a claim with her personal insurance, Wisconsin Mutual. But that claim was also denied, the company stating, quote, "The policy specifically excludes the use of a covered vehicle while being used for a business purpose." Commercial insurance attorney Will Kramer helps many consumers in these situations minimize their losses.
The only way you'll really know what's covered and what's not is to read the insurance policy, but it's extremely complicated to read those.
He says, while it's the employer's responsibility,
where it gets sketchy is if you work for, a very small company or a company that doesn't have a lot of resources.
Ride Connect LLC is not a BBB accredited business. News 3 Now reached out for comment multiple times and Ride Connect failed to respond. Other rideshare programs like Uber and Lyft offer insurance for their drivers. To be sure you are insured while driving for work, double check the policies. Does your work have you listed as a driver? Personal auto insurance policies almost always exclude business use, but making sure your name is on the policy could save you thousands in legal fees if you end up being at fault.
Thank you, Michelle Renee. And our Call for Action volunteers take your consumer complaints and take action on your behalf. You can submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/ call for action. Now let's get a look at the forecast. Cloudy and foggy today, but very mild. Enjoy it, right, Blaze? Because it's about to change.
Everything is about to change. We're definitely going to feel more winter-like as we head into the final days of December and going into those first few ones of January. We're hanging out in the low to mid 30s tonight, about 20 degrees warmer than average, given our overnight low typically should be right around 15 degrees. So we'll be mild tonight in the 30s underneath mostly cloudy conditions. Because we're moving in some warm air even further into Saturday, there's going to be a little bit of fog, potentially waking up Saturday morning. By the afternoon, that moves on out of here. Saturday is going to be warm, and it is going to be cloudy. Sunday is also going to be warm to start, and then everything comes crashing down as we head overnight into Monday, which is why, again, we have that alert day. Not only are we going to be dealing with strong wind gusts, upwards of 50 miles per hour at times, a flash freeze along with some snow is going to be possible as temperatures go from the 40s to about 19 degrees overnight Sunday into Monday. We're going to be quickly cooling on down, and especially areas north of Madison for now could be dealing with the biggest impacts. So what is happening between now and Sunday? Well, a high pressure system is moving on out of here, and we're getting ready to welcome in this next strong low. Again, cloudy and mild for Saturday, maybe a little bit of fog out there waking up in the morning. Rain moves in to start on Sunday as we head into the mid to late afternoon hours. Winds start to turn out of the northwest. We say goodbye to the rain and welcome in the snow. This is following the near perfect path of what we would expect a Colorado low to follow to bring us, that accumulating snow. But I'll talk about why we don't see snow right away in just a moment. So rain to start out your Sunday, precipitation that will begin probably towards the early to mid afternoon hours. That will eventually turn to a mix, which will eventually turn over to snow. Keep in mind, winds will be gusting out of the northwest at about 45 to 50 miles per hour overnight into Monday. So make sure you're tuning in on Monday with Savannah to get all the latest in terms of road conditions, school delays, or any sort of weather alerts. So the green path is what this low is taking. The blue path is the ideal path for these Colorado lows. So it's closing in on the Chicagoland area, which is really crucial for us here in southern Wisconsin to get that snow. We get some of that lake effect moisture mixing in with the cold air. But what we don't have overhead, like what we had going in the weekend after Thanksgiving, is that cold air already over us. We've been sitting underneath warm air, not only today, but yesterday. We'll be there tomorrow and throughout most of Sunday. So the reason why we don't see that snow through the whole time and why our snow totals are probably not going to be as high as what we could have seen is because we have to get rid of the warm air and replace it with the cold one. And when that change happens, that's going to be crucial because then we can start recording how much snow we see on the ground. So, alert day conditions Sunday into Monday. It looks like for now it is going to be a quiet but cold ringing in of 2026 with a low of 6 degrees, but we hang out in those 20s pretty much from about Monday through that following Monday to start off our January 2026.
Right on cue.
Yes.
It gets colder. All right, Blaze, thank you. We're just over 24 hours away now from the Packers taking on the Ravens at Lambeau Field. And last night we found out the Green and Gold have officially guaranteed a playoff spot with the Vikings win over the Lions yesterday. The Packers, in case you missed the top of the news today, the Packers announced this afternoon that quarterback Jordan Love is out and backup quarterback Malik Willis is in. News 3 Now's senior Packers writer Jason Wilde tells us more from Green Bay.
Packers quarterback Jordan Love is out for Saturday night's matchup with the Baltimore Ravens at Lambeau Field. He was trending seemingly to make his way out of the concussion protocol in time for Saturday night's game, but about an hour ago, the Packers officially ruling him out. Now, it's unclear whether or not they're playing it extra carefully because they've already locked up a playoff berth. But the Packers do have something to still play for in this game. They would be able to win the NFC North if they can win on Saturday night, win in Minnesota next week, and the Chicago Bears lose both of their remaining games. That would mean a home game for the Packers in the postseason. But Matt LaFleur warned earlier in the week that he has seen before players who seemingly are making their way through the concussion protocol are symptom-free, and then suddenly they're not.
I would anticipate knowing prior to game day, but Who knows? I mean, like, I really don't know. So to answer your question, I'm going to retract what I said and say that, especially when you're talking about, I don't even like to say the C word, but it's just a very delicate issue. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, we've seen it with certain guys. They come in, they feel great one day, and then the next day they don't. So it kind of is a little bit of a moving target.
With Love having been ruled out, backup Malik Willis will make the start for the Packers. He's been dealing with a shoulder injury and actually was sick earlier this week and missed practice because of an illness that is working its way around the Packers locker room. We'll have that story and everything else you need to get ready for Packers Ravens on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for the Packers newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Jason. Coming up on Live at 4, we hear about New Year's resolutions every year, but very few, less than 10% of us, actually keep them. We have some tips to help you try to keep your resolution this year. And then a look at New York as they get ready to ring in the new year. A little later on Live at 4, we're taking a look back at the year that was, some of the biggest news stories in our area in 2025. The numbers on Wall Street to end the week slightly red across the board. The Dow closed down just 20 points. The Nasdaq is down 20 as well, and the S&P 500 dropped just 2 points. The storm system that socked California this week is blamed for at least 3 deaths, and the state isn't out of the woods yet. Parts of Southern California remain at risk for flooding, and some first responders spent Christmas Day rescuing people. Parts of the 101 freeway were shut down to lift people to safety. And in Ventura County, the mountain town of Wrightwood, northeast of LA, took a big hit. Authorities told residents to be ready to evacuate because of mudslides.
The sediment is all the way to the top because the wash behind just completely overflowed. Wrightwood is an incredible community, whether it's floods or fires or now this. They really pull together and they're out helping each other.
The region typically gets half an inch to an inch of rain this time of year, but the National Weather Service says many areas could see double that, calling it Southern California's wettest Christmas in modern history. Further north, it was a white Christmas in the Sierra Nevada with 4.5 feet of snow, and more snow is expected there this weekend. We're learning more details tonight about the Christmas Day U.S. airstrikes against Islamic State forces in Nigeria. Plus, there is a new sign that negotiations to end the war in Ukraine are intensifying. Olivia Rinaldi has the latest from the White House.
This is the burnt area Nigerian police cordoned off on Friday after U.S. military officials said they conducted airstrikes against Islamic State forces. The Defense Department also released this video of what it says was one of the missiles launched late Thursday. President Trump claimed in a social media post the Christmas Day operation targeted ISIS terrorists who have been killing, quote, primarily innocent Christians. President Trump called the strikes numerous and deadly, but did not offer additional details, like what was specifically targeted or the number of casualties. The Nigerian government, however, did say they shared intelligence with the U.S. before the attack. A Nigerian Islamic cleric criticized the airstrikes, saying it targeted a predominantly Muslim area with no history of Christian persecution.
There was never any incident of persecution of Christians in Sokoto State. Their churches were not attacked.
The military action in Nigeria comes amid a sign that diplomatic efforts to end the nearly 4-year war in Ukraine may be intensifying. On Friday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told reporters he'll likely meet with President Trump in Florida on Sunday to discuss, among other things, security guarantees for Ukraine. Zelensky's announcement came after he said he had a good conversation with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner on Christmas. Olivia Rinaldi, CBS News, the White House.
The White House has not confirmed a weekend meeting between the two leaders. Times Square literally posted some big numbers today in preparation for New Year's Eve. The giant numerals ushering in 2026 were installed and tested, offering a preview of the big countdown. More than 1 million people are expected to pack into Times Square on New Year's Eve to watch the ball drop and the numerals light up. But you don't need to be in the crowd this year to notice something different.
In the history of the numerals, they've always had lights on them, so light bulbs, and now we have a lighting puck, and that can make it color different colors and different styles and designs, which we're showing off today.
Very cool. The numerals are 7 feet tall and boast a combined 594 lighting pucks. The crystal ball looks a little different too this year, with red, white, and blue colors to honor America's 250th anniversary this year. Well, experts say wrong food choices are made by all of us every day. We all do it because of certain misconceptions about food that we all have. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has 5 food myths that you might want to leave behind as we move into 2026.
From social media to well-meaning friends, food trends can spread like fire, and they're not always true.
As anyone who's tried any food trend, it's not a one-size-fits-all.
Registered dietitian Julia Zampano with Cleveland Clinic says the first common myth, to lose weight, you have to give up all your favorite foods.
Maybe you have it a little less often at a smaller portion, but I think all foods can fit into a plan.
Next, avoid grain products when trying to lose weight. That's false. Zampano says it's a matter of how much of those you're eating, what you're pairing them with, and how you prepare them.
It's most important just to choose whole grains and a very balanced diet.
Third, going gluten-free is healthier. Zampano says if you have gluten sensitivity, yes, avoid gluten. But she says that doesn't equal weight loss.
Gluten-free products are pretty much the same product like bread, but just made with a flour that doesn't have that protein in it.
Fourth, avoid all fats to lose weight. Again, false. Zampano says fat is essential to our bodies, but she says to limit the intake and focus on eating healthy fats. Finally, going vegetarian helps you lose weight and be healthier. That's a myth. While plant-based diets are healthy, simply avoiding meat doesn't necessarily equate to healthier outcomes.
You may not be meeting your protein needs, your calcium needs, or other nutrient needs. Make sure you get all your nutrient needs by the food choices you're making.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Thank you, Mandy. And another myth that Zampano says she hears a lot is that dairy products are fattening and unhealthy. She says that is not true because it's an important food group and provides needed nutrients. But she says, like everything else, keep portions of dairy products in moderation. And for those who can't tolerate dairy, choose alternatives. Still to come on Live at 4, the holiday train has come and gone, but now we get to find out how much money they raised this year. And if you haven't made your New Year's Eve plans yet, we have a few different options to get you home safely if you do choose to go out. And then we're looking back on an entire year of news. We'll talk about some of the largest stories we covered in 2025. Plus, Blaze is back with the first warn forecast. Travel conditions will deteriorate over the weekend. We'll have the best times to be on the roads in his weekend forecast.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
To Live at 4, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Brady is off today. Let's take a look outside. It's been cloudy and foggy, but very mild. The runners taking advantage of it on the Capital City Trail. It's been nice to have all of the paths clear for a while, but the weather words today, big changes soon, and Blaze Keller is here. He's watching the forecast. When can we expect that?
Not until Sunday, so we have 2 days, just 2, to get outside and enjoy the warm temperatures. Saturday, and I would say maybe the first half of Sunday will be warm, but throughout Sunday, things are going to be changing. That's why we have an alert day already ahead for Sunday, particularly Sunday night into Monday, when this low pressure system is going to move on through, changing the rain and mix over to snow. Winds are going to be gusting out of the northwest at about 50 miles per hour at times, and the falling temperatures could mean we could be dealing with what we call a flash freeze, where everything just it cools off so quick that everything freezes. So keep that in mind. We'll talk about more of this system in the full forecast. Much like this morning, we could wake up to some fog Saturday morning as temperatures continue to remain mild in those mid to upper 30s. A few low 40s can't be ruled out, say around Janesville into Walworth, Rock, as well as southern parts of Grant, Lafayette, and Greene counties. As I said, just 2 more days to enjoy the 30s and 40s, and then we're back into the 20s and teens for high temperatures. How cold we get and how long the cold sticks around for in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Blaze. Well, Madison Metro is not offering its extended ride services for New Year's Eve this year, but there is an alternative. Our Maya Tate spoke with the Director of Public Affairs for AAA to learn more about their Tow-to-Go program to help keep impaired drivers off the road. Maya?
Tow-to-Go, a program offered by AAA, could save lives this New Year's Eve. If you find yourself in a situation where your only way home would be to drive impaired, AAA offers a free ride program that will not only pick you up, but also tow your car, so you won't need to find a way back to your car the next day. The service is available to the overall public, whether you have a AAA membership or not.
You really can't stress enough the importance of having a plan before you go out. There just really is no excuse to ever get behind the wheel when you know you're impaired. The risks of doing so to yourself and to others is just unacceptable. And this is our small way of making sure that there really are no excuses at the end of the night to make that dangerous choice.
AAA does note that Tow-to-Go is intended to only be used as a last resort, so you can't plan a ride in advance. They also suggest that everyone should plan on having a designated driver or using a rideshare. But to get a free ride within a 10-mile radius, call 855-2TOW-TO-GO.
Very important information, Maya. Thank you. With Christmas already in the rearview mirror now, many of us are setting our sights on the new year, and with that, making resolutions to improve the quality of our lives. However, if you do choose to set some goals for the year, make sure they're realistic and achievable so that you can set yourself up for success. A worksite wellness consultant at Amplify Health by Gunderson says that whatever your goals are, it's okay to change or modify them throughout the year and break them into smaller, more attainable chunks if you can.
Put some time on your calendar where you're going to be able to chunk away at accomplishing that goal. Make sure it's a realistic goal, and then set little mini goals for yourself, whether those are weekly, monthly, every 6 months, things like that. And then periodically, even on a monthly basis, check in with yourself and see how you're doing with accomplishing your goals.
Boland adds that goals don't always have to revolve around physical health, as many tend to do. Journaling more, taking up a new hobby, reading, or meditating are all things that can enrich your life in meaningful ways. Well, Canadian Pacific Kansas City, the group that runs the holiday train, says they raised a record $2 million this year through their journey through the U.S. and Canada. More than 170,000 pounds of food was also collected to support local food banks. The train's annual journey featured several stops across Wisconsin, gathering families and neighbors for concerts and good times. Through its transnational journey, the train played 194 live concerts in 13 states and 6 Canadian provinces. Hope you had an opportunity to check it out. Next on Live at 4, from tornadoes and poison plots to escapes, international rescues, they were all stories that made headlines in our area in 2025. We're going to take a look back at all of them. And after the break, we're going to take a look back at the stories that defined the year. And then if you're one who likes to keep your Christmas decorations up year-round, we have a set for you, but you might need a warehouse to showcase it. And then it might not have been a white Christmas, but we are heading into an icy new year. Blaze is back with a check on the forecast and what travel conditions will look like. We're giving the weather satellite a spin. This is a live picture of Cape May, New Jersey, where it's 35 and cloudy right now, but parts of New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania are under a winter storm warning tonight. Cape May features a wide variety of Victorian architecture. It's one of the largest collections in the nation. Well, we're taking a look back at this year's largest stories in news. It was another busy year in southern Wisconsin that included severe storms, a poison plot, and a story of survival. Arman Rahman gives us a look back at 2025 with just some of this year's big headlines.
You know, the term slow news day almost never applied in 2025. For Southwest Wisconsin, it was a year of capers, escapers, zephyrs, and rockers. A whirlwind of news that started with literal whirlwinds, tornadoes that tore through Dodge County.
I could feel the pressure drop, my ears popped, I kind of like it sucked the air out of the room.
In May, Mayville and Juneau were hit by an EF2 tornado that tossed trees into homes, flung trailers and debris across the landscape, and leveled the Juneau staple, the Schwant family farm. Their 150 cows, which they considered family, scattered.
They're special friends of ours that we live for and they live for us.
But everyone on the human side of the family made it to safety.
They were just so happy when I came in. And when I told them everything was leveled, they just broke down bawling.
Then 2 months later in July, 6 tornadoes touched down in Wisconsin, one narrowly missing our meteorologist's mother's house while he was on the air.
County Road YZ, so that would be right where we're looking at. So I'm going to text my mom and let her know.
Yep. No one was seriously hurt or killed in these storms. People were also wondering what was in the air in Madison in June when multiple hazmat crews popped up at 2 homes in town. The cause, a couple wanting to get back at past lovers. Paul Van Dyne and his girlfriend Andrea Whitaker had devised a plot to poison Van Dyne's ex-girlfriends in Dane and Rock counties using cyanide in a water bottle and a chemical called thallium.
Paul is a threat. He is dangerous.
One woman in Rock County was hospitalized after she was poisoned by that water bottle. The woman from Dane County spoke out in court about how she was nearly killed by a man she barely knew.
I am scared for myself. I'm scared for my 2 children.
Both Whitaker and Van Dyne pleaded not guilty in both counties. Their trial is still ongoing. In November, the search was on for Morgan Geyser. Geyser, when she was 12, stabbed Taylor Leitner 19 times in 2014, egged on by her friend to please the online horror character Slender Man. Geyser was supposed to be at a group home on Madison's southwest side, unbeknownst to residents, but she cut off her ankle monitor bracelet and fled, prompting a nationwide search. She was found at a gas station in Posen, Illinois, with a 43-year-old person she met at the group home, Chad Mecca.
I did something really wrong.
She didn't want to give her name because she did something really bad.
Geyser was taken back to the Waukesha County Jail, where she waits as the state tries to revoke her conditional release, which allowed her to go to the group home. Her attorney argues she should be relocated back to a mental health facility in Winnebago. A climate journalist raised in Stoughton made headlines after he went missing while hiking a glacier in Norway in August. Alec Lund set out on a 4-day solo backpacking trip on a Norwegian glacier, but his family never heard from him and he missed his flight back home. His sister spoke to News 3 Now while the search was underway.
He has a real will to live, so I know he's out there.
In a shocking but relieving ending, Lund was found alive after being stranded almost a week, falling off a cliff and injuring his foot.
It's incredible. It is. We're just also grateful that it went in this direction and not the other direction. It is just like this huge weight has been pulled off, and it feels like we can breathe.
Some lighter news. For the first time since 1997, Camp Randall Stadium went from touchdowns to downbeats, opening up for concerts with Morgan Wallen and Coldplay. Thousands gathered under the Friday night lights to make a sky full of stars. The concerts provided a significant economic boom to the city, and it's not over. AC/DC is set to take the stage next summer. And those are just some of the news making headlines this year. Reporting in Madison, I'm Arman Rahman, wishing you all a happy holidays and a happy new year.
And to you, Arman, thank you so much. What a year it was. And 2025 looks like it might end with an alert day.
That's right. We're looking at colder temperatures to end the year after a mild stretch. The days leading up to Christmas, Christmas Eve, and Christmas today, tomorrow, and parts of Sunday, all looking to be mild. It's as we look to truly those final days of December that colder air is set to move on in. That's why we have alert day conditions for Sunday night into Monday for areas north of Madison. We'll include Madison too, but for now it's mainly areas north of Madison. Snow, flash freeze is going to be possible as temperatures quickly drop from the 40s to the teens overnight, and those winds picking up in speed out of the northwest, gusting upwards of 50 miles per hour, all come together with our latest strong system. Right now we have a high pressure system overhead, and that's going to lead to cloudy conditions tomorrow, winds turn out of the south, and maybe some fog in the morning. We're moving in that warmer air overnight into Saturday because we're going to be just slightly warmer than where we were today. We'll keep the cloud cover, southerly winds bringing up a lot of moisture for this next system to use. But what it is not doing is it's not bringing down cooler air in time to bring us all-day snow. Instead, we're going to be watching as rain moves in as we head further into Sunday, then the mix, and then the snow. This is another large, what we call Colorado low. These are those stronger low-pressure systems, much like the one that moved through after Thanksgiving, bringing us that heavy snow. But again, unlike Thanksgiving, the weekend after it, we don't have the cold air out ahead of it to turn that rain over to snow as the system moves on in. So we have to wait until that colder air takes on over. And that time is going to be really, really crucial because then we can start measuring how much snow we get. So it may be a little bit of time, and if this holds off until later into Sunday evening, less of us, especially further south and east, are going to see measurable snow. If it changes rather quickly, then we could be dealing with snow, say, earlier in the day on Sunday, overnight into Monday. But by the time we go Sunday night into Monday, that is when we're going to be dealing with primarily all snow, gusty winds, as well as those falling temperatures. As this low pressure system in the green here follows that near perfect path of a Colorado low, truly they just have to pass over Chicago. That is the almost bullseye area that we want these lows to move on through to bring us that chance for snow. But again, if we were cool enough, then we'd have probably another hefty system on our hands. But this time, we're just remaining too warm for a little bit too long. But maybe that's not bad news for some folks. In the meantime, we'll go from the 40s to the teens and hang out in the 20s with single digits to ring in 2026.
It is January, right on cue.
Yes.
There go those temperatures. All right, Blaze, thank you so much. And stay with us. Will Loper has a look at some new movies and shows that are streaming this weekend.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
If you're looking for something great to watch at home this weekend, film critic Will Loper has a late Christmas present for you. Here are his 3 recommendations for your weekend viewing.
If there are any heavens, my mother will, all by herself, have one.
Get out the tissues for Goodbye June, newly streaming on Netflix.
Families are hard.
Just please.
That's why I make sure people get good goodbyes.
In Kate Winslet's directorial debut, siblings gather around their ailing mother, played by Helen Mirren, at Christmas.
Being part of this family.
Do you all love your nana?
Yeah! It's my biggest adventure.
힘 있는 놈이 세상을 바꾼다고 믿습니다. 나는 지금부터 세상을 바꿀 것이다.
Find thrills in Made in Korea, newly streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
저는 못 믿으시더라도 제 돈은 믿게 해드리겠습니다.
마르지 않는 돈줄. 자기가 그 돈줄을 쥐고 있습니다.
The series follows the rivalry between a public prosecutor and a man running a criminal enterprise in 1970s Korea.
당신이랑 나랑 가장 다른 게 뭔지 알아? 난 내가 한 선택을 책임질 힘이 있거든.
The message is clear.
I'll be seeing you very soon.
Not if I see you first.
And watch one of the best films of 2025 with one battle after another, newly streaming on HBO Max.
I got a total.
Whoa, what's going on?
Leonardo DiCaprio plays a not-so-successful revolutionary on the run with his daughter Willa, played by Chase Infinity.
I wanted to protect you from all your mom's stuff and all my stuff, even though I know that's impossible.
For Live at 4, I'm Will Loper.
All good choices. Thank you, Will. And finally at 4, if you think you have a lot of decorations to put away now that Christmas is over, check out Tyler Seckler of Calumet, Iowa. He might have you beat. From a small set of 7 pieces in 1996, Seckler's collection has now grown to 450 pieces spanning 576 square feet. Every year for the last 29 years, he sets up his holiday village the week of Thanksgiving, and he allows visitors to check it out through December. But this year might be Seckler's last, unfortunately. He's looking to sell this collection to one buyer.
I think that's a Christmas small city.
I think it would look nice in the studio in the weather office.
Yeah, he could just decorate it all around here. We'll fill up the space very nicely.
So this weekend is a big travel day, and Sunday is the transition day for us, right?
Yep, Sunday is going to be a little bit tough, so I would recommend either coming home on Saturday, or if you can, maybe just come in on Monday, because that system moves through on Sunday, and it brings us rain, snow, a mix of both, flash freeze as temperatures drop, and strong wind. So I really wouldn't recommend driving Sunday. Do it either Saturday or just wait till Monday. Take an extra day off.
Oh, you've just been granted permission.
Yeah.
Thank you, Blaze. We'll be right back. Coming up at 5, Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul is announcing that our state is joining a multi-state lawsuit against the Trump administration, how the issue of gender-affirming care is being taken to the courts. And Tesla is announcing a major recall of some vehicles. We'll tell you the models and the reason. Thanks for having us in today on Live at 4. We hope to see you back here on Monday. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.